Hello and welcome to the social trading webinar in conjunction with Ayondo Markets. My name is David Jones, and if you're watching the recorded version of this, it was held live at 7:30 on Tuesday the 13th of September. While I'm talking away, I'll just bring up the risk warning there so you can have a look at that. We do this social trading webinar every couple of weeks, normally on a Tuesday night. Other webinars that we run regularly are the Market Outlook webinar on a Wednesday lunchtime at 12:30. And again, that's another half-hour webinar looking at the major markets, FX markets, indices, commodities, to see where maybe the opportunities are in the days ahead. But tonight, we're going to be focusing on social trading. So let's get straight into it. There's a couple of slides, but most of this evening will be done on the platform. So we'll have a look at real traders that we can follow using the Ayondo platform that you can see there. But for now, just go back to the slides. The idea behind social trading, it's clearly straightforward enough. The idea behind it is to find a batch of traders who have traded well, who've got a good track record, and who we may want to follow. I'm sure we all know how difficult trading is. Most people who start trading will end up losing. So I think social trading is something I've been involved with working with Ayondo these past few months, and I've got a couple of social trading accounts of my own. It's an interesting idea because what we're looking for are traders with good track records to have their trades automatically carried out on our own account at a level of risk that suits us. So you open an account in the same way, and then you can go through to this page here. So if you land on the Ayondo website, you've got a couple of different options, and you just need to choose the social trading, the we trade part of it. And then I want to have a look at top traders. So I'll go down to here and look at show more top traders. And what I'll do, I'll sort these initially over the last 6 months, and we'll start off by looking at the popular ones, so the ones that have lots of followers. Here we go. So we'll start off here just to get a feel for the sort of information that we're seeing. So what we're saying here, there are traders on the Ayondo platform, and you could do this as well if you wanted to, who make their accounts available to be viewed by other people, or their performance, their track record, as it were, how well they've traded, have they made or lost money, what sort of trades have they done. And then if you want to, you can follow these traders and have their trades copied on your account. So, for example, at the top here, this is one who pops up quite a bit. This is the most popular one because I've sorted this by followers. So Mr. Dax is the trader's name, and Mr. Dax, he or she, I'm assuming it's a he because of the Mr, has got 1,981 followers. He's got a bit of a tough 6 months, nothing too bad, but we're looking at the last 6 months here, and has lost just over 3% over the last 6 months, with a maximum drawdown, I'll talk about these figures a little bit later on, of just under 18%. The last trade he did was within the last 4 hours, does on average 108 trades a month, and there you can see a chart of the P&L. Of course, I'm sure we all know, if we are profitable, it doesn't necessarily mean we're profitable every day, every week, and sometimes even every month. Your profit and loss does go in waves, and maybe at the moment Mr. Dax is on just something of a down wave before his trend resumes. We'll see. We'll see in the seminars ahead how he's doing. The risk score here, this is something that's dynamically calculated by Ayondo, and it's quite a handy thing to track because it happens in real time, and if suddenly maybe a trader starts to change their approach, then the risk score will change. So if you're following somebody and you're thinking, well, hang on a second, what's going on with the most recent trades? If the risk scores change, you can see that they may be adapting their style of trading. So you may want to take a decision as to whether or not you want to keep following them. But let's sort this by P&L over the last 6 months. So what I've done now, I've changed how we're looking at it. We were looking at it before based on the number of followers. We've now sorted it by actual profit over the last 6 months. So coming up at the top, this one's been at the top for a few weeks now. Hectorius has been at the top for a while as well. But let's have a look at OMP trading. So they have a career ranking as well. with ayondo based on their experience, how long they've been trading, and their profitability. Risk score, a little bit on the high side. So again, we should maybe expect a bit of volatility if this is one trader who we're following. Then we have the P&L, the profit and loss. So over the last 6 months, this trader has made over 70% return, which I'm sure we'll agree is a pretty impressive number by any stretch of the imagination. And what's encouraging is the drawdown. If you're not familiar with the term drawdown, it's a trading term where basically how much of your profit do you give back along the way. So if you made £100 profit, then it dipped down, you lost 20, so your account went back to £80, then you went on to £120, your drawdown would have been 20%, the drop from 100 back to 80 before your account moved higher. So this drawdown figure, it's all well and good, making, let's say, 150% return, but if along the way you're sort of risking losing 90% of your account as a drawdown, that's probably not a strategy that many people would want to follow. So in an ideal world, what we're looking for, somebody with a reasonable return of profit and loss, with not too much of a drawdown. Look at this person down here. So Scotty 777, to contrast, 40% return over the last 6 months. Again, that's a very solid return, and it's just over 6% a month. Who wouldn't want that sort of return? But maximum drawdown, 81%. It suggests a level of risk that many people, I know I wouldn't, I wouldn't really be comfortable with those levels of risk. So it gives you a feel, I think, for the trader's approach to risk and how that may play out on your own account. So let's stick with OMP. So 16% drawdown. Last trade 42 minutes ago. Trades per month, 200, so a fairly active trader. Number of followers, his followers have been increasing in recent weeks as he or she has pushed to the top of the league table. And here, this for me is always an important one. What does the chart look like? You can see what's the profit and loss curve like on the chart. And again, in an ideal world, I am looking for ones like this, or like this, or like this. I don't really want someone who's been losing, and maybe has a good few months, or someone maybe like this one down here, where it seems to be flat, big trades, flat, big trades. What I want to see, hopefully, is someone who's trading regularly and consistently profitable. And you can scroll down the list. Clearly we've sorted this by P&L, so that the P&L drops off. We get further down the list. So number 10, Performantes, 23% return in the last 6 months. Again, that's a good return. That's almost 4% a month. Drawdown of 13%. The profit and loss chart a little bit erratic. So it's an interesting way, using this ranking system, of very quickly finding a group of traders who you might be interested in following. But what you can also do is put filters in place. So some of the filters you might want to look for: real money traders, so that the platform shows traders who are trading with their own money, but also traders who are trading on what is in effect a demo account. So you have people in there. Let's just flick back and have a look. So if I take off RMT, I've got 269 traders here. If I take off RMT, I've got 1,730. So there's an awful lot of people who are trading not using real money. This one here, MJ Trading, has made 287% over the last 6 months. You can see the P&L chart there, but you can see they're not, because he doesn't have, or he or she doesn't have an R next to their name. They're not trading with real money. So I've maybe got not quite as much faith in people who aren't actually trading with their own real money. Another filter, like I mentioned, that chart, a smooth historical profit and loss chart, healthy P&L to drawdown ratio. We don't know, if you're following someone on your own account, you don't want to be risk losing, giving back a whole chunk of profit along the way. Low volatility, as we see by that risk score, we can see just what levels of risk they're taking on. And the detailed search lets you refine all of these. So if we click in there, so we can change and have a look in a bit more depth. But let's say we wanted to, let's have a click in there. So let's say we wanted to find out a bit more about OMP Trader. Let's just go back to the top. How do I bring them back up? Let's go to our 6 months. Again, 6 months, there we go. So we can drill down and find out a little bit more information. So let's click on the name. Okay, so this brings up their details. So this is OMP Trading, risk score 7, 720 followers, claims to have more than 10 years experience, been a member, been trading since May 2016. So if we click on here, you can see that's the P&L chart of how they've done since they started trading. So started trading back here, what's that, sort of the middle of May. And to me, that's a nice P&L. You know, you can see where that low percentage drawdown is coming from. The chart goes up, has a bit of a loser, goes up again, bit of a loser, but we have a nice steady uptrend, and he or she is just now at the peak of their trend. And down here it overlays it against the market, the DAX. So if you'd invested in the DAX over that period, the German stock market index, you've been sort of fairly flat returns. Okay, so let's have a look what that is. There we go. Okay, so the return so far, as we say, about 75%. Then if you want to, you can have a look down and have a look a bit more at their performance month on month. Because another thing I think to be wary of, because some traders can have really impressive figures over 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever, but it's maybe 1 month where they've made the bulk of the money, so it really flatters the figures. So here the performance since registration, 12.5% in May, 7%, 11%, very good August, 23%, and up 4% for September so far. The sort of markets being traded, well, a little bit of everything arguably, but you can see the bulk of the trades, 57% of the trades have been made, and the German DAX, the German 30 index, and another nearly 30% on the Dow, the Wall Street index. So this is clearly a trader who likes the indices, and there's a lot to be said, I think, for focusing in 1 or 2 markets rather than trying to trade a little bit of everything. Then we have some more detail here, some industry data such as Sharpe ratio, money at risk ratio, where they've made the money, and any open positions that the trader currently has. So you can scroll down, and if you want, you can scroll down to see closed trades. So there we have what was the latest closed trades on the, there we go, 13th of September. Was a trade on the German 30 making just under 75 euros. Wall Street earlier on, 220 euros, and so it goes on. So you can see an awful lot about that trader's transaction history. Let's go back to our list. So now let's say we find a bunch of traders who we may want to follow. If you have an account, and to open an account, if you've ever opened a trading account with anybody else, it's the same sort of thing. You open an account and you fund it. The minimum requirement you need to have in your account for following people is £1,000. So I think you have €1,000. Mine's been pounds. I think I've got an old account I'm using on here, an old demo account. It's got about £500 in before they changed. But let me show you how it works. Let's say we decide actually OMP is a trader I'd like to follow. I can click follow, and what I've done, I've built up a list already of traders from the last seminar we did. So let me just kick one of these out. Let's take this person out. Okay, remove that person from my list. We'll go back to OMP trading and add OMP into my list of traders. Here we go. Click on follow. Perfect. So now I go to Portfolio Builder. So if I click on there, so these are the traders who I want to follow on my account. So I added these 4 in previously. So there's Hectorius, real money trader, Edel Natal, often near the top of the league table, real money. Performantes slipping down a bit, but real money trader. This one isn't a real money trader. I think I did that just to spice things up last time around. And of course, OMP Trading, who I've just added. You can follow from 1 to 5 traders. It's up to you. I mean, personally, I think because what I'm trying to do is maybe smooth out trades. So for me, I always like to have 5 traders in there, but it's completely up to you how many you follow. And what it has here is an idealized performance based on those 5 traders' track record over, what's this, going back to the beginning of the year. So if I looked at maybe the last 6 months, so over the last 6 months, if I'd been following these traders, I'd have made around about, I think about 54%, something like that up here. There we go. Which again would be a fantastic return. So what it does, it gives you an idealized view. Of course, you can't go back in time and do those trades from over the last 6 months, but the hope is that what we've seen in the past, will be an element, that's something that gets carried forward into the future. What I can also do is I can adjust the level of risk. So I think this is a good question. Someone asked about risk a little bit earlier on. If you're following people, and it's something I hadn't done before, it can be a little bit unnerving, thinking, well, okay, these trades are going to be happening automatically on my account without me interfering in them. And that takes maybe a little bit getting used to. But what you can do is set your level of risk. So if I click on Hectorius, for example, I click on settings, there we go. So what I can choose to do is I can either follow them at the same size or larger or smaller. So let me explain how this works. If I only had one trader in my portfolio, so I was only following one of these people, if they do a trade that risks losing 2% of their account, then the same percentage size trade gets done on mine. So if they've got a £100,000 account and they're risking losing £2,000 on a trade, if I've got a £1,000 account, it would only risk losing 2% of my account, £20 on the trade. So it follows them in percentage terms, the same size trade. What I could do is increase that risk right up, so to 10 times. It's not something I'd recommend, but if they risk losing 2% on their account, you can risk losing, in this example, 20% on your account, which is not to be recommended. Or you can scale the risk right down to 0.5, so you can trade at a level that's half of their size. And I think the best way to learn about this stuff is to do it, but trade at a level of risk in the beginning that's relatively low. But there's also an added level of risk control here, because if you're following, as I am here, 5 traders, then your risk is automatically reduced anyway. So rather than following, as it says down here, with 5 traders in your portfolio, you would then follow every trader with 1/5 of their risk. So if this trader, Hectorius, risks losing 5% of his account on a trade, because I'm following him and 4 others, I'd only risk losing 1/5 of that. So I hope that makes sense, but it's a level of risk that's really manageable. So I'll set that to 1. I think all of these should be set to 1, so I can just check this by clicking on settings. There we go, 1 there. Settings, 1 there. Smarty Trader, whoever that one is from last time round, and settings there. There we go. So everyone's at 1. So this way, because there's 5 of them, I'm actually going to be trading at 1/5 of their size. And that's it. So nothing's happened yet. I haven't started having these trades executed on my account yet. So to do that, all I need to do is click Execute on Live Account, and then a warning screen comes up. Because these are active traders, chances are they've got trades open and running. If I want to, I can take those trades now, but of course I'm taking them at whatever the market price is now. So if someone bought the Dow 3 days ago 300 points lower than it is now, my trade isn't executed at that level, it's executed at wherever the market is now. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is follow any new trades they do. So I've got no interest in taking on their historical trades. So if I'm happy, then I click Execute Portfolio, and that's it. So now there's my accounts for the purposes of this seminar. We're just over 500 quid in. I had some trades running before that I closed out so I could start from scratch. There's the balance of my account, unrealized P&L. There are no open positions, of course. We've only just started following these traders, so we have to wait for one of them to do a new trade before trades get carried out. As an extra level of protection, what I can also do is put what is in effect a stop loss on my account. So if I click on there, I can set a level where if my account balance falls to whatever level, let's say £300 in this example, then I want all trades closed out. So, and for me, because I don't want to sit there and watch the account every day, I'll check in once a day or once every other day how things are going. But I really just tend to leave it there, running in the background. I think it's very complementary to your own trading to try and build up maybe a team of traders whose trades you follow automatically. But I just have like a trigger set up. If the account balance falls to a certain level, please close all the trades. So click on Save, and that's it. It's done. So now I know that I can't lose more than what, £205. Also, with ayondo, although with certain other companies, there's a risk of losing more than your deposit. So your account can go negative in normal sort of spread betting and CFD trading. But with ayondo, you never lose more than your initial deposit. So even if market's absolutely cratered, you know your risk, you have your stop loss protection there, and if you're trading yourself, you can never lose more than your account. And that's it. So now it's all running. So if I go back to Portfolio Builder, I can check in during the day and have a look and see, do I need to want to change any of these people, what they're doing. I go to my account to see how things are going, have any trades been placed yet. And if for some reason I think, no, actually, I need to review things again, it's simply a matter of clicking on Stop Execution Now, and that will basically unattach all those traders from your account. They'll still be there in your portfolio, like the 4 were before when we had a look when I first started, but their trades won't be getting executed on your account if you click on Stop Execution Now. This is quite a small account, and I'm following these 5 traders. So you'll see the size of some of the trades I closed earlier. They're pretty small, 6p, 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 pretty small trades that were running before that have been carried out to reflect that level of risk, trading at a fifth of the size that they were trading. And it's really as straightforward as that. I think the website is pretty intuitive to find your way around, and find different traders over your particular time frame. If you want to have a look at what's the last month, let's see who's really been making the money over the last month. Okay, this one here, Carlton, has made 71% over the last month, but with a maximum drawdown of 66% and a not very pretty profit and loss chart. You can see for a while losing lots of money. If you have a look at that over maybe the last 6 months, has had a good month in August by the look of it, but overall is down 40% since the start. So at the moment, the 1 month performance is looking like just something of a dead cat bounce, I think, in terms of their profit or loss. But it's very easy to have a look at the different sort of periods and find a trader who has a style. There's OMP Trading again, 3rd best performer over the last 3 months, who has a style that might well fit with your approach. If you don't have an account with ayondo, you can, once you set one up, you can also have a demo for, I think it's for 3 weeks. The demo runs. There we go, my demo account. So you can play around with it, following people on a demo account for a few weeks to see how it fits for you. But I think it's an interesting approach. My background, I've worked in the spread betting business for the last 10, 12 years, and I've been sort of spread betting and trading since the mid 1990s. So for me, following people doesn't affect my own trading. I carry on and sort of trade different things myself, but I think it's quite complementary, and it's maybe a bit more of a sort of maybe a lower stress approach for some people to follow traders and have their trades automatically executed on your account without you having to click buy, sell, and watch the markets yourself. And it's very straightforward, hopefully, as I've shown tonight, to add traders. And if you change your minds, either stop following them or adjust that level of risk. So I'd say if you haven't done it, it's pretty straightforward to set up an account, give it a go. Maybe try it on a demo or try it small. First of all, I'd always recommend that. But I think the best way of finding out how it might work for you is to do it. If you have any questions, you can feel free to drop me a line afterwards, or send me an email, or get in touch on Twitter. I've put up a website with some information on it. It's www.tradeafter.com. So I've written a bit about my experience of social trading and something of a step-by-step guide that I'm going to update over the next couple of weeks. So if you go there, you'll see a little bit more information on that. But if you do have any questions, drop me an email. It's david@tradeafter.com. You can follow me on Twitter for market updates and charts, that sort of thing, and it's @JonesTheMarkets. And I'm just going to send you the link. So for tomorrow's webinar, and one that we do every Wednesday lunchtime, is I think this should work. If I send that through to you, there we go. If you go there, I think it should direct you. No, what did I do wrong there? Hang on a second. Oh, I know. It's dot out, bit.ly/market outlook. So if you go there, you should be able to register for tomorrow's lunchtime webinar, market outlet webinar, where we don't talk about social trading. We go back to talking about self-directed trading and looking at the various markets and the big levels to watch. And a lot's been happening. We've seen a lot of volatility clearly in US markets. Just looking now, the Dow has recovered off its earlier lows. The 18,000 level seems to be providing a little bit of support today for the Dow, but it's come down, as I'm sure you saw last Friday, dropped nearly 400 points on Friday. So we'll take a look at all these different markets tomorrow lunchtime. And as I say, if you register for it but you can't make it, you'll get sent a link to the recording afterwards. But for now, for today, we'll wrap things up there. So to find out more, either have a look on my website, have a look on the Ayondo website. It's very straightforward to open an account and get going. But that's our introduction to social trading. And like I say, any questions, please send me an email or let me know on Twitter. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your evening.